Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls Dissected, a video series dedicated to unraveling the mechanics of Dark Souls 1. Today, we'll be talking about Covenant Betrayals and Absolution. Now, this video is intended as a follow-up to the first episode on Sin. It assumes you already know the difference between PvE Sin and PvP Sin, so please go back and watch that first if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. So there's actually two different ways to betray a covenant, and the community is not always on the same page when talking about this. So to help distinguish the types of betrayals, we'll be referring to one type as a soft betrayal and the other as a hard betrayal. The soft betrayal is when you leave one covenant directly for another. In the covenants you can level up, this will reduce your offerings by half. Here's an example of what happens when I leave the Warriors of Sunlight for the Chaos Covenant. You can see that the 50 Sunlight medals I donated changed to 25 as soon as I leave the covenant. There is, unfortunately, no way to avoid this. Note that a soft betrayal isn't actually a sin of any kind, and doesn't require absolution to fix. No covenant will actually stay mad at you for simply leaving them. Again, the only penalty is having your offerings halved. So what's the hard betrayal all about? Well, a hard betrayal is when you're kicked out of a covenant. You didn't simply leave the covenant. So that means you were a member of a covenant, and based on actions that you did, the covenant decided you're no longer a member and your status of covenant goes back to none. So you can think about the two different kinds of betrayal kind of like quitting a job versus getting fired. The hard betrayal is getting fired, and you don't want that. This is because the hard betrayal has more significant penalties. It'll give you a point of PvP sin, just the same as if you've been indicted once, but much more significantly, your offerings are actually cleared to 0. They're just completely wiped out. So there's actually only 4 covenants where hard betrayal is possible. This includes the Dark Moons, the Forest Hunters, the Chaos Covenant, and the Princess Guard. No other covenant is possible to be kicked out of. For example, the Way of White doesn't care if you attack Petrus or Ria's crew. Warrior of Sunlight Covenant doesn't care if you attack Solaire. The Gravelords don't care if you kill Nito, and the Dark Wraiths don't care if you anger Kath. A hard betrayal will also toggle PvE sin into the on position, allowing you to pay for absolution. In most cases, this will allow you to rejoin a covenant if the covenant leader is still present. So to quickly recap, soft betrayal is when you leave a covenant. It's not a sin of any kind, but it will have your covenant offerings. A hard betrayal is when you're kicked out of a covenant. It gives you a point of PvP sin, and it clears all of your offerings to that covenant. And just as a quick aside, leaving a covenant is exactly what it sounds like. This includes leaving one covenant directly for another, using the new bonfire system in Dark Souls Remastered, or even using Oswald to leave the covenant. So that's right, Oswald's abandoned covenant feature is useless. There's pretty much no point to it. Now, since I didn't go into detail on this in the Sin video, let's talk a little bit more about Absolution. Absolution is the mechanic for de-aggroing NPCs. So let's say you put your controller down on the couch and you accidentally attack Andre. You don't have to kill him, just run away and pay Oswald for Absolution, and he'll fix the problem. Or, if you're thrown off by Alvina's confusing questions, Absolution will let you try again.
I see. A result most heathenish and gross.
Of course, bear in mind that Absolution won't revive any NPCs that have been killed. Now, it actually does have a few unexpected behaviors, so we'll cover that now as well. If you kill someone in Ria's crew, including Petrus, Absolution won't fix the problem. They'll stay angry, and there's nothing you can do. If you disappoint one of the primordial serpents, that's the end of that.
Oh, sorry, fool. You could not be the chosen one.
It also won't de-aggro the Dark Moon Nidus if you've killed Gwyndolin. The one thing it actually accomplishes that you might not expect is that if you've made Anor Londo dark, it'll actually de-aggro Gwyndolin, so you can still join the Dark Moons, even when you've made Anor Londo dark. Well, so that's pretty much it. Is it possible that there's any as-of-yet undiscovered benefits to Absolution? I'm not exactly holding my breath, but truth be told, I actually haven't identified all of the flags that relate to Absolution. When I pay for Absolution here, you'll see all of these flags go off. All of the blank entries are ones that I actually haven't identified yet. If anyone can discover anything unexpected in there, of course, please let me know. So that should cover Covenant Betrayals and Absolution. I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope it was informative, and until next time, don't use Oswald to leave covenants.